You have a financial thermostat. It's set to a specific number, and every time your bank account drifts too far above or below that number, your behavior adjusts to drag it back. You've seen this in your own life. The raise that disappeared into lifestyle inflation, the windfall that evaporated in weeks. Over the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly how that thermostat got calibrated, why willpower and budgeting apps barely touch it, and what actually resets it in 30 days. Because the gap between what you earn and what you keep has almost nothing to do with math. Think about the last time you checked your bank balance and felt something in your chest: relief, dread, numbness, whatever it was. That reaction was learned. You picked it up before you ever earned $1. Researchers in financial psychology have tracked this pattern across thousands of subjects. Your earliest memories involving money predict your adult financial behavior more accurately than your income level, your education, or your credit score. The phrases your parents repeated at the dinner table: "Money doesn't grow on trees," "Rich people are greedy," "We can't afford that." Those landed in your brain during the years when you absorbed language without filters. They became the operating instructions your financial thermostat runs on. And the thermostat is precise. Financial therapists report that clients who receive unexpected money, an inheritance, a legal settlement, a bonus, consistently return to their baseline net worth within 12 to 18 months. The amount varies by person. The pattern almost never does. So what actually resets it? The first week is about excavation. You need to find the specific sentences running your financial behavior, because they're almost never where you expect them. Grab a notebook, write at the top, "Money is," and then finish that sentence 20 times without stopping to think. The first 5 answers will be polished, socially acceptable. The ones between 15 and 20 are where the real code lives. Money is dangerous. Money means people want something from you. Money leaves. Those aren't beliefs you chose, they're recordings. Once they're on paper, something shifts. You can see the logic of your own self-sabotage. The person who believes money leaves will spend a bonus within days, because on some level, the money was already gone. The person who believes wealth makes you a target will unconsciously cap their earnings right at the threshold where they still feel safe. The behavior makes perfect sense once you read the source code. Week 2 is where most people get this wrong. They try to overwrite the old sentences with affirmations. "I am abundant. Money flows to me easily." And for about 48 hours, it feels electric. Then the old recordings play louder because the subconscious treats forced positivity like a foreign object. It rejects the transplant. What works instead is something financial therapists call graduated reframing. You take the original sentence, "Money is dangerous," and you move it 1 inch, just one. Money can feel dangerous, and I'm learning to handle it. That's close enough to the original belief that your brain doesn't reject it, but the direction has shifted. You're no longer stating a permanent truth, you're describing a process. The difference sounds small on paper. In practice, it's the difference between a locked door and one that's cracked open. You sit with each new sentence for 2 to 3 days before moving it another inch. "I'm getting better at handling money." Then, "I handle money well enough to keep learning." Each version is only slightly less anxious than the last. Your brain accepts each step because the distance is small enough to feel true. By the end of week 2, you've walked the belief from money is dangerous to something closer to money is a tool I'm learning to use. Same brain, same person. The thermostat just moved 3 degrees. Week 3 targets your body. This sounds strange until you realize that financial decisions happen in your nervous system before they reach your conscious mind. That tight feeling when you open an invoice, the impulse to close the banking app without looking at the number, the strange guilt after buying something you can afford, those are physical responses, and they drive behavior more than any spreadsheet. The technique is almost embarrassingly simple. Twice a day you sit with a specific money scenario, checking your balance, negotiating a rate, receiving a large payment, and you breathe through the physical sensation it triggers. You stay with the discomfort for 90 seconds without reacting to it. Research on emotional regulation shows that 90 seconds is roughly how long it takes for a stress response to peak and begin to dissolve when you observe it without acting. After a week of this, the same scenarios trigger less voltage. Your body starts treating money as information rather than threat. A financial planner in Toronto described it this way to one of her clients: "You've been flinching every time money shows up. We're training you to keep your eyes open. That's the whole mechanism. Keep your eyes open long enough, and the flinch fades. The flinch was never protecting you from money. It was protecting you from a story about money that you inherited from someone who had their own reasons to flinch. Week 4 is behavioral. You've rewritten the sentences. You've trained the nervous system. Now you need proof that the new thermostat setting holds under real conditions. This means doing one financial action per day that the old version of you would have avoided. Checking your full net worth, asking for a rate increase, researching an investment instead of bookmarking it for later, setting up an automatic transfer to savings and letting it run without adjusting it down after 3 days. Each action is small. The accumulation is the point. Behavioral psychologists describe each small action as a vote for identity. Repeat it enough, and the tally shifts. 1 week of daily financial actions won't make you wealthy. It will make you someone who does things with money instead of someone who has feelings about money. The identity shift is where the thermostat actually recalibrates, because once you see yourself as a person who engages with money directly, avoidance stops making sense. It becomes structurally incompatible with who you are. Critics of this kind of work raise a fair point. Mindset changes mean little if your income doesn't cover basic expenses. Poverty is a material condition, and no amount of reframing erases a shortfall between rent and paycheck. They're right. A rewired money story doesn't manufacture dollars from thin air, but here's what the research consistently shows. People with healthier financial identities make different decisions at every income level. They negotiate harder, they invest earlier, even with tiny amounts. They waste less on guilt purchases and comfort spending that exists purely to medicate the anxiety. The thermostat shift doesn't change a starting balance, it changes the trajectory. There's one more piece that most 30-day programs leave out. Your financial thermostat doesn't exist in isolation. It's calibrated against the people around you. If everyone in your circle earns within the same narrow band, your thermostat treats that band as the ceiling. You'll self-correct to stay within it, turning down opportunities, underpricing your work, spending windfalls to return to the group norm. Researchers call this reference group influence, and it operates below conscious awareness. You won't feel yourself doing it. You'll just notice that your income keeps hovering around the same number despite different jobs, different cities, different years. The fix is exposure, the same way week 3 worked for your nervous system. You need regular contact with people who operate at a financial level above your current thermostat setting. Proximity to different financial behavior recalibrates your sense of what's normal. This is measurable. Studies on peer effects show that your financial habits converge toward the median of your 5 closest contacts within about 2 years. 30 days won't complete that convergence. It starts it, and starting it is the part that matters, because your thermostat can only hold a setting you've seen modeled by someone you trust. Day 30 arrives and the bank balance might look the same. Probably will. The change is underneath, in the half second between seeing a number and your chest tightening, where now there's a gap that didn't exist before. A pause. Room for a choice instead of a reflex. That gap is the new thermostat. It doesn't announce itself with a windfall or a sudden raise. It shows up in the negotiation you don't back down from. The investment you actually make instead of research endlessly. The savings transfer you stop adjusting. You wrote those original money sentences in a kitchen you barely remember. Listening to voices that were managing their own fear. The sentences made sense for them. They stopped making sense for you a long time ago. You just kept running them because nobody told you the notebook was still open, still accepting edits. It's open, the pen is in your hand, and the thermostat is waiting for a new number.